You got a gun, you got a big gun, you got a gun, it's not a real one, and all you ever think about is running away, all you ever think about is trying to stay away from me.
And welcome back to another episode of the LoudMouth MMA podcast. This is the Not Safe for Work MMA show. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we are back. We got fight cards, I'm pretty sure, from now until October. Great time to be a fight fan. Joining me, per usual, Mr. Frederick Kirby. Hello, Fred.
Mr. Kyle.
I say per usual, but you haven't been here for a while.
It's been a long time. How long's it been? Like 5-6 weeks?
It's been a while, man.
We've been busy.
We have, and we've had some life things just not matching up, and but here we are. It doesn't matter. The past is irrelevant. We're here, and we're ready to go.
You're goddamn right. And we got plenty of shit to talk about. We can go back 3 or 4 weeks. We can
do whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's great.
Listen, son, motherfucking Mike Tyson is coming back. Joey B's dead in the water. What else fucking happened?
Well, we just had an announcement yesterday about Khabib and retiring.
Oh, I didn't even see that one, Jack. Yeah. You break that news to me. His pops died. Rest in peace to the man's name, who I cannot pronounce. I don't got no problem butchering folks' name, but I won't speak ill of the dead now. So,
I wonder if I kind of had I was kind of wondering if Khabib's going to retire in order to basically take over the gym and kind of work on creating the next wave of fighters.
In all reality, I think no way. I don't think he's going to have enough money, honestly. Like, real talk, I know he's doing well, but he's also, fucking 27 years old?
Yeah.
He's not going to be rich forever off of what he has right now. He'll make good money managing a gym, but he won't, listen. I don't think Khabib's nowhere near retiring. Even with his old man dying, which is obviously a major blow to him, his career. He was his head trainer, the whole most of it, but I don't think we're going to see Khabib retire.
Yeah, and the report was that he was going to fight 2 more fights. That was which my assumption would be unify against Gaethje and then defend against Conor. I mean, that was my guess. And then the second Conor fight, you can make quite a bit of money in that, especially if it's your last fight. You could probably get the UFC to give you just about whatever you want.
I think he keeps fighting after that. I don't think he retires after 2 fights. There's just if he happens to do that and he wins those fights, then that just creates even bigger fights and even more money. Then he could go up to 170, and we'll speak about a gentleman here in just a little bit. But I mean, that's what I love about MMA, man. There was a time where there was nobody in the world that we could find to match Anderson Silva, and look at where we're at now. Like, no matter how great Khabib right now seems untouchable. Give it a year, and you might have 3 guys that Khabib would be the underdog against. Maybe they would be at 170. Maybe they'd be at 55. I mean, you just never know how this thing goes, man.
Or guys that, and not even fighting them currently, but in the next couple years, you're going to see those people that you're going to go, wow, if he'd have fought Khabib in Khabib's prime, he would have beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You're going to have those guys that come across, and, we might be seeing people now. I don't know. I don't know where we're at.
That's why I don't think we're going to see Khabib go anywhere no time soon, because there's always about to be some other guy coming up. Like, nobody's even really close to fucking clearly cleaning out a division.
And that's just how this works, man. It's always next man up. You look at John Jones, again.
He's the one.
He seems pretty unstoppable.
Yeah.
And he's going to lose at some point.
But even then, he's got a whole other career of fights at heavyweight that he could take if he wanted. Like, there's always another fight for everybody. I don't give a fuck how great you are, how dominant you seem. When you're in the UFC and you're at the top of the game, there's always going to be some dude.
Well, and you see that with the records. Like the fight with, was it Nicholas Dalby and who was it? Who did he fight yesterday? I don't remember offhand, and I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, me neither.
But anyway, whoever Nicholas Dalby.
There was a fucking 142 fights last night on the card. It was chaos.
Wait, so. Jesse Ronson? Was that his name?
Probably. That sounds about right.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, listen, we can go with that. I know. We don't need the facts.
Jesse Ronson and Nicholas Dalby.
Yeah.
So Jesse Ronson 0-3, in the UFC. Mm-hmm. And I think he's been part of the UFC for quite some time, too. I don't know how he's one of the guys that just slipped through the cracks.
The fucking swan song.
And then he wins against Nicholas Dalby. But Nicholas Dalby's record right now, 18-4, right after that loss.
Yeah.
He's only had a couple UFC fights, right? Mm-hmm. That means before coming to the UFC, he had won like 16 fights.
Sure.
You know, and had like one loss or something. I don't remember what his record was, but you know, I mean, he has 1 or 2 losses maybe coming to the UFC, and then he comes to the UFC and he's a 500 guy.
Right.
You know? Like there's a difference when you're tearing through whatever regional promotion that you're tearing through. You know, once you're at the top, right? That's when you see what people, and you can have people that don't do super well in regional who can come on the high level for whatever reason and be phenomenal, right? Or people that can be 500 fighters in the UFC all of a sudden take that turn and now they're on top of the world.
Here's the thing though about records, especially before you get to the UFC. Not every local regional scene is the same.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're from bumfuck North Dakota, yeah, you might whip up a quick 10-0 record against who the fuck. If you're fighting out, Brooklyn, New York, you know, or Florida, or just somewhere where there's a lot of MMA talent.
The hard part is when you're in, like when you do predictions, right? And you got 2 newcomers, and you're like, all right, well, this guy has spent his career fighting in LFA, and CES, whatever, and then this guy fought in some Iowa promotion I've never heard of, right? Sure. So you go, okay,
you have to favor the LFA
this guy clearly has the upper hand, right? He's fought tougher talent, has more fights, whatever it is, and then he gets absolutely obliterated because there just because you're fighting in that Iowa promotion doesn't mean you aren't top tier talent. It means you live in Iowa, you know, and you just that's you're fighting the people that you have to fight. So records are just, it's strange. That's why the test is once you're in the UFC, what are you made of, right? It doesn't matter what you did before.
Right.
What are you made of now? Basically, you have an 0-0 record.
It just means we don't know. Like, because, I mean, those guys could be tough, too. I mean,
listen,
you know, who the fuck knows? Regional scene in fucking Dagestan's probably fucked, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it just depends. The
problem is we don't have one unified promotion like you have in every other sport.
Well, right.
You know, where you have the NFL, you have the MLB, you have the MLS, right? These are what is understood to be.
There's not a rival to the NFL. There's not a Bellator.
At least
for
not
the NFL.
Really, right?
Yeah,
At least
like Canadian.
not really.
It's the CFL.
But when you're talking about Deion Sanders records, right? Or when you're talking about Tom Brady's, career touchdown passes, you're not talking about what he did in college,
right?
And that's kind of how fighting feels. Mm-hmm. These guys come in with these records,
it only matters
and we talk about those records, and it's like that's minor leagues, right?
Yeah, sure.
But the problem is that's not how it's viewed in totality. Like it's almost like on some level they're saying LFA and UFC is the same thing.
I mean, I hold whatever the fuck you got before you got to the UFC with a little bit of stock because it do matter. I mean, listen, Habib came in undefeated, John Jones came in undefeated.
It's just like guys in the minor leagues,
right,
who do incredible.
We can tell you talented, but we're about to find out exactly what's doing now. Like you're. That's why on some real shit, not to start like throwing Habib under the bus or getting on Habib in any way, but just. Realistically speaking, people jump out the fucking window in MMA too, boy. Yeah. 1 or 2 good fights. He's the greatest of all time. Put your fucking GOAT memes away, all right? I think Habib is great, but as far I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. Suck my fucking dick. To me, BJ Penn is still the best lightweight of all time. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Listen, BJ Penn moved up from lightweight and beat Matt Hughes for the belt at 170. All you youngins out there might not know what that means, but that's a big. That would be, and he submitted him in the first round for all you dicks out there too. That would be like Habib moving up right now and destroying Kamaru Usman and finishing him in the first round. Does anybody understand the significance of that? Then we can start rolling out the fucking red carpet for Habib. Habib's great.
Well, the difference, too, is size. Like, Habib is much closer to Usman's size than BJ Penn was to Matt Hughes.
Well, right. But even yet and still, you know what I'm saying? Like, Usman would be a mite bigger than Habib, and it would still be a great challenge.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't really to shit on Habib, but as far as calling him the fucking GOAT, I think to your point about shit that happened outside, he's 33-0. Kiss my ass with that. And quite frankly, if you look at his UFC record, fucking Mike Horwich or whatever the guy whoever that dude was.
I'm not going to correct you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I love that that's where you go with it.
Who the fuck was that guy?
His name is now. By the way, if you can go and tag us on Twitter. If you can figure out who Mike Horowitz is, that he's actually that don't say it, don't even correct it, Fred. This is a challenge for everybody on Twitter. I want you to hop on Twitter. I want you to hop on, go to Sherdog, right, friend of the podcast. Go on Sherdog, look up Khabib's record, and I want you to figure out who Mike Horowitz is. Which guy is Fred talking about?
And then after that, go do something special for yourself because you just figured out a fucking monumental mystery. Nobody knows or like. His record in the UFC, real talk, all bullshit aside, all jokes aside, I think Khabib's got about, I don't know, off the top of my head without looking at his record, 3 to 4 really credible wins on his record. I might be being a little cunty there. Maybe it's 5 or 6. Hell, he's only, 8 or 9-0 in the UFC? I mean, he ain't got that many goddamn fights in the UFC. And, the Gleison Tebow fight, people swore up and down he lost. I'll give him the W, but it was by a cunt hair. You know what I mean? It wasn't exciting.
So he's 28-0.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to the UFC.
Okay, yeah. When did it start?
Okay. So I'm going to go through his record. I'll give you the year as well, so that way you can
a little bit of
weight
perspective.
That way you can weight it, and then you just give me give me yay, nay, poop sound, nay, whatever you want.
I'll say right through the gate, I am a Conor fan. This is a biased opinion, but fuck y'all, there will be a little bit of truth to it, too.
Okay, here we go. 2012 debut, Kamal Shaloris.
You know what? I remember Kamal Shaloris or whatever the fuck. And he was, I think he was coming off of a win or two. He was a good prospect. I don't think Khabib finished him, did he?
I do not believe so.
I don't think he did. So he
was coming off of he came out of the WEC where he had strung together a couple wins in a row,
right,
against Will Kerr, Dave Jansen, and then comes into the UFC, loses to Jim Miller,
okay,
gets finished by Khabib,
okay,
then gets finished by RDA.
When he fought the fight with Jim Miller, he was a bit of a prospect. Coming out of the WEC, he was very hot. So, okay, fair enough. You know what, Khabib, I'll give you that one. You got the finish, and Kamal, whatever the fuck, was a decent prospect at the time.
All right. 2012, Gleison Tebow.
He lost that fight. Suck my ass. Everybody fucking says he lost. You know what? Again, fuck it. I'll give it to him. He won it by a cunt hair. We all know who Gleison Tebow is. Fucking huge, lightweight, grapple-heavy guy. Again, okay, he won that fight, but definitely not impressively. And it was one of those, Alexander Gustafsson, John Jones fights where, half the room thought that Khabib lost it. So, fair enough.
So I'll say this, though. We've just started to go through his record. We're only 2 fights in, and he's getting some decent credit. Now, you're saying he lost the second fight, but it's still a big win given who it was. So
and a very tough guy at the time, yes.
So right now, we're 2-0.
Okay, fair enough.
We're legit 2-0
And he's got, yeah, okay, fair. True.
All right, so third fight, 2013. Okay, he's fighting constantly during this time period. Fighting constantly. Then you got 2013, you got Thiago Tavares.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
This is a round one finish.
Now I'm kind of wishing we wouldn't have done this.
It's a round one finish.
Thiago Tavares was he was a bit of a beast at the time. He was definitely, in hindsight, I mean, I'm sure if you go back to he fucking fell off the cliff quickly thereafter. But all things being equal, he was a beast at the time, and that was a credible win. And Khabib got the finish, you say?
Yep. Round
right.
one.
God damn it. Fair enough.
All right. Then we have a decision in 2013 again. This is a couple months later against Abel Trujillo. That's when we took him down like 20-something.
Okay, yeah, I think this is where most people got really introduced to Khabib, and I think this is where I started to not love Khabib. Going into this fight, Abel was obviously the big-time striker versus grappler. Now, Khabib did control him ultimately with the grappling, and it was very impressive. But I think it was one of those fights where most of us were kind of like he got the win, but none of us came away from that, major Khabib fights. He just controlled him.
He took him down. It was literally
like 142. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so then we go, again, 2013. So, again, fighting constantly. We got Pat Healy.
Yeah. All right, Pat Healy was a beast. He was a bit fucking long in the tooth as far as it fucking
You know
goes.
what's crazy is he was actually less of a favorite against Pat Healy than he was against Abel Trujillo.
Yeah, well, Pat Healy's a fucking grizzled veteran. Dare I say, a champion in other organizations. I don't think he was a UFC champion, but fucking, WEC, Strikeforce, one of those fucking places. Elite XC. Pat Healy was a beast, man.
All right, so again, a couple months later, 2014, we got Rafael Dos Anjos.
I think that win didn't mean. I know for a fact that win didn't mean as much then as it would have. Like after
he was a minus 315 favorite.
Well, and then RDA went on his big streak after that, if I'm not mistaken. That's when RDA went on and won the belt and smashed. Who did he smash? Anthony Pettis or RDA went on a real fucking nice run after that. That's right after that fight is when he kind of built this whole fucking aura that he had for himself.
But he beats him right before that, which that means it kind of means something.
Oh, no, it does. I guess it just
listen. So far, his record ain't that bad. All right, we're going through.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
All right. So this is where I think you just get way too hung up on this.
This is fucking Mike Horwitz.
You get way too hung up on it. Okay, so now he takes off quite a bit. He takes off 2 years.
Okay, right. He got injured, though.
Three canceled bouts in a row.
Yeah,
Cerrone, then Ferguson. Right.
Fair enough. Right.
Takes off 2 years because of injury.
Right.
Then he fights Daryl Horcher.
Yep.
And I believe he was supposed to fight somebody else. Was it Ferguson?
Somebody. It was supposed to be a name, yes. And
I think it might have been. I think it might have been Ferguson again, and then Ferguson had to pull out.
Mike Hocher came in.
So Daryl Horcher comes in, or as he's known around here as Mike Horowitz.
Sorry, Daryl. I'm being a dick.
He actually is a good dude. He's a very good dude.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Right after this, he gets into a motorcycle accident. Like almost dies.
Okay, fuck Kyle.
Has to
for me.
has to take 2 years away from the sport. Comes back to the UFC after fucking umpteen surgeries and fighting his way back. You'd be nice to Daryl.
All right,
yeah, he's a good dude. But Daryl Horcher, he absolutely destroys him. I mean, it goes into the second round, but he
sure, whatever, right? Come back fight.
So that's after 2 years, right?
Right.
Later that year, he fights Michael Johnson.
Yeah, and he dominates Michael Johnson.
Gets the finish.
To be fair, you could probably kind of end it here for the. This is when I personally remember starting to be impressed with Khabib. I mean, obviously I was impressed with him, but his performance against Michael Johnson, I was like, holy shit! That's when he started looking just really dominant and like just kind of scary.
So then he takes another year off. Then he fights Edson Barboza, 2017.
Mm-hmm. That was a very good win too.
About 6 months later, fights Ally Quinta.
Very good win. Close. Well, no, it wasn't a close fight. I take it back. Very good win. Dominating. No finish, though.
Comes back about 6 months later, beats Conor McGregor.
Yeah, listen, that's a good one.
And now, mind you, any of the fights we talked about has never lost a round.
Right.
Doesn't lose a round until he fights Conor.
Right.
A couple months later.
And to be fair, didn't really lose that round in a major way.
Right. Okay. Then he a couple months later beats Dustin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where we are.
Yeah,
I think his UFC record is a lot better than you give it credit for.
You're right. Going back through it, I am willing to go back on that, but I stand by my greatest of all time status. I think all that's still.
So what does he got to do? Well, okay, if he beats Gaethje, then beats Conor a second time and walks away.
Yeah, I suppose greatest lightweight of all time, sure. But quite frankly, I want to see if he does that at lightweight.
You want to see him fight at 170?
Yeah. If you dominate, and I guess that's not fair for me to say. You God damn it, if
you're for the best lightweight, it wouldn't matter what you do at 70 or 45.
Sure. And fair enough. Maybe it doesn't matter. But God damn it, everybody out there that has been that dominant, this is my fucking major pickle with John. Everybody out there that's been that dominant in a weight class
has forced themselves to.
They went ahead and took the try. Fucking BJ did it. Holloway did it.
Hate Conor as much as you want. He did it.
Conor did
twice.
Right. And a lot of people have come up short. But boy, is it exciting. Yeah. And, if Khabib does that and he's that dominant at lightweight, we're all dying to see somebody compete with this guy. If he never moves up to 70, all things being equal, yeah, fair enough. He'll be the greatest lightweight. But he still has a lot to do that he can, really get some big fights.
You're not the only person to have the Khabib's record kind of mythos, right? Where you undervalue it.
And to be fair,
a lot of people do that. And I think once you go through the record, you're like, all right, it's not as bad as what you're thinking.
but it's still not great. Like, to be fair, even having just gone through it, he fought a lot of tough guys, but not a lot of superstars, not a lot of, he's got the Conor win, he's got the Poirier win.
So besides Ferguson, though, who else should he have fought in that time period at 55?
Well, listen, I don't know. I smoke too much. Who knows? But
Like an Eddie Alvarez when he was on top.
look, there's a lot of names that weren't on that list. But here's the thing. Now he's there, and those names will be there. Stick around. Don't fight 2 fights, bro. You're a young guy. 28, you said? Give us 3 years. Fuck, fight till you're 31, 32. Pull a George St. Pierre, man.
I don't think I said his age, and I actually don't remember how old
I'm pretty sure you said 28 because I thought I said 26 or 27.
No, we were going through his record.
28. Well, I guess for sure.
How old is Khabib? Habib.
I don't think he's fucking 30 or above. Maybe
I think he is, man.
30 on the nose, though. He can't be that fucking old. He's not that old, for sure.
No, he's not that old, but 31.
Okay, well, 31. Either way, give us a couple more years. Fuck, like you. I want some more fights.
You'll be 32 this September.
Justin Gaethje is another nice name, but for me, 2 to 3 more names after that biggest name in the sport names, and then I think I would kind of suffice and shut the fuck up. But he needs some more. Conors and Poiriers and Gaethjes. Like, who else we got at lightweight right now? If he does beat Gaethje, take Conor out of the mix. What else is there? Like, what else is the big fight for him?
Well, Ferguson. But he's got walkthrough.
Right. Is it a fight at fucking welterweight? Like, is that what he would need to do to really go up there and fucking really fucking cement himself as one of the,
I think
possibly the GOAT?
I think for most people, even if you're a Khabib apologist or a massive fan or whatever it is, right? I think most people really want to see him fight at 170. He's always been big. He's struggled to make the weight quite a bit. Not recently, but in the past he had. I think that's something everybody wants to see. Just to like, can he do it? Can he go up to 170? Can he beat a guy like Usman, right? Who has very, very good wrestling, very, very good defense in that area. Has better hands, right? Usman has better hands than Khabib. Don't fucking talk to me about the knockdown in the Conor fight. You're out of your mind. That had nothing to do with good hands. That was he does this little punch. What do they call it? The eagle punch or whatever it is, where the looping overhand. That doesn't mean you have good hands. I mean, he's mastered this kind of surprising. Looping shot that he's gotten down the accuracy and timing on, and it's not good hands. And Usman doesn't have good hands either, but I would say he has better hands than Khabib. And he has the defense, and he has the size,
right?
To be able to stifle some of what Khabib's going to try to do. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fight I would be if he beat Usman at this point.
Right, that's the kind of thing that just makes waves.
That's how. Here's what it is. This is what you're trying to say. That is how a legend is made.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
It's not that you have to do it, because you don't. Right? I mean, and you can still be considered a pound for pound great or whatever it is.
Listen.
But legends are born through doing things where people think you're going to lose, where people think you can't do something,
right,
and you do it anyway. That is how you reach legend status.
Here's the thing, too, man. I think a lot of people are quick to hate on Conor for obvious reasons, but I think people forget, like, people make it seem like Conor's a massive lightweight. And don't get me wrong, he was big for lightweight. But Conor made 45. All right? And I know. He looked bad. But he made it.
Still could, I'm sure.
Multiple times.
He never missed weight, yeah.
I don't think Khabib could make 45 if his life depended on it one time. He barely gets to 55. I literally don't think Khabib could make 45. So, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but I think that gets lost in the sauce a little bit. Conor's not really quite a lightweight. And when he's at fucking welterweight, we should all be sucking his fucking dick. I mean, that would be like Khabib. That would be like Khabib taking fights at middleweight. I mean, we are all just like, oh, yeah, he's going to fight Masvidal at 170. God forbid he got the fuck beat out of him by Masvidal at 170. I think we all forget that he's not that big. And his persona is, but like,
again, legends are born from taking massive risks.
Sure.
And you get rewarded for that if you win, because you can reach that legendary status.
Right.
So if you are a John Jones character where you are absolutely dominant, the most dominant athlete that we've seen in the sport with John Jones. But again, how many fights can you think of off the top of your head that you thought he was going? And we've talked about this, and this has been your point. But how many times has he fought where you thought he was going to lose?
I mean, in recent memory,
Certainly not anything recent.
Next to none. I mean, the Gus rematch and the DC fights. That's it.
Where you're like, he could lose.
Sure.
But I mean but that's as far as it went.
It. Yeah,
and it was a could.
Right.
Where pretty much a lot of Conor's fights, even going into the Aldo fight, was he should lose this, it's more than just a could.
Sure.
It's whatever's between should and could.
Right. Eddie Alvarez even that was like okay, now the jig is up, buddy. Now you're fighting a 55er that's been around everybody and blase. So yeah, exactly. John, everybody, and right now when Khabib fights Gaethje, there's still a little speculation there because Khabib hasn't quite grown to that status yet, but he'll be favored. But if he comes out and smashes Gaethje, like he smashes him, he's going to get to that point to where at lightweight we ain't just got nothing for him, and we're going to assume that he's going to. I mean, most of us assume that he'll probably do that to Gaethje too.
A lot of the shine has now been taken away from Ferguson, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Which is a bummer, but that's just the way it goes.
Which is
it's
why
not the same.
Which is why that fight sucked to take because it's like
because this could happen.
You're on this massive streak. You get kind of embarrassed towards the end, and now it just takes a lot of the shine away.
And the fucking crazy thing is Tony still might be the one to beat Khabib. Styles make fights.
I think he can beat Gaethje. You know what I mean? I don't think that was.
Maybe.
I don't think that was in a vacuum. I think that was in a vacuum. I guess I should say.
Sure.
I don't think that's this happens
9 out of 10 times. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is like a 50-50. I mean, I think that he lost a fight that he could win. Change up a game plan a little bit,
especially with a guy like Gaethje. One or two good shots early in the fight can fuck it all up. Yeah. He just hits you so fucking hard. Even if he doesn't knock you out, he can catch you with such a big shot in that first or second round that you just never really fully recover. I think a lot of times we see that in fights where guys get clipped hard, and it's like, oh, he's recovered. Nah, motherfucker, he ain't recovered. He's just not about to fall down no more, but he's still a little fucked. Like if you eat one of those, like from a guy like Gaethje. If you eat a big shot from Gaethje and you don't get knocked out, and you might be up dancing around and throwing punches back, but you're still fucking.
Which is again,
hurt.
It's a Conor MMO, right? It's like you're once you get hit with one of those,
you're never quite right again.
Yeah,
you're still a little. Even if it seems like you're standing on solid ground, you're probably in your brain and still a little wobbly, man.
So what do we do? Let's get to the card that we just had. And then we can get to maybe some past news, whatever some of the biggest stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, then we can get to the future a little bit and kind of go from there. By the way, a couple things happened. One, you have the most fights that the UFC has put on. They put on 15,
for one card, 15. Yeah,
15. We now have the last of Fight Island for a minute, I think. We had a stretch of where everything was on that Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. Where's it at?
Dubai or Abu Dhabi? One of them.
I think it was Abu Dhabi. But we have our last Fight Island fight for a minute, I think. And you also have a prospect that has now introduced himself to the masses. You have Chimaev. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
I'm close enough?
Listen, you're definitely close enough.
He's fought twice in the last 10 days.
Yep.
Both of them smashed.
Yep. Very Habib-ish sort of performances and the
worked
way he
through
fights.
him, got him down, stayed on top, and
Smashed
just
him.
took control.
Yep.
And has a personality.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah.
He's
you know what? I was going to say this too. You don't really need much of a quote unquote personality if you're foreign. Like his personality was just, I smash you all, give me tough guy.
Yeah, but I love it.
And we ran with it. Yeah,
works.
sure. It's like, imagine if fucking, Michael Johnson tried to pull that little stunt off. It'd be like, yeah, sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But when you're foreign, you get away with.
Yeah. Oh, you just need to say a little bit. And that's real talk to Peter Yan. Kind of gets to the, like, if you're foreign and you just run your mouth just a little bit, we're like, oh, look at you, you little spicy Polak. We're down for the fucking, we're not really used to the foreign cats running their mouth like that. If you fucking just talk a little bit, buddy, we're here for it.
I love it. And it does seem to work that way.
Literally, because I'm seeing a lot of people like, oh my God, don't get me wrong, the performances in the octagon were great, but a lot of people were making a kind of a big deal about the way he was talking. But at the end of the day,
he wasn't really saying much.
He wasn't really saying much. I mean, he did say that he would beat the welterweight and the middleweight champion at the same time or in the same night or something. But
whatever. Yeah.
Who amongst us haven't said that? Fucking when we're shooting our mouth off. What the fuck is this? For some reason, it was more poignant coming from him. But I do love it.
Here's my question coming out of this card, which is, what exactly do we do with... So Whitaker got the win. He got the win, but it wasn't in a way that I think we would want it to be, right?
It wasn't emphatic.
It wasn't, and he got hurt quite a bit, and he keeps getting hurt in these fights. Even the fights he's winning, right? He's getting hurt. He's getting hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering, especially because, again, he got the win. So he's the one that now moves up.
Sure.
And we won't even get to, we'll get to Till, but, I mean, I don't know. I barely know what to do with Whitaker next. I have absolutely no idea what to do with Till next, but we'll get to that. So, but what do you do with Whitaker now? Because, again, he moves up. He got a win. He got a good win. But he keeps getting hurt. And, yeah, I just don't know what to do.
I mean, as far as him getting hurt, I don't know what to say about that. But as soon as he's healthy again, I mean, I'm not in the camp that thinks he should get a title shot unless let's see what happens. If Boronchina knocks out Israel, fuck it. Throw Robert Whitaker in there with Boronchina. If Israel Adesanya knocks out Boronchina, I don't think I'm ready for Robert Whitaker Israel yet. But I thought Darren Till was going to beat Robert Whitaker. I thought the fight was close, but goddamn, Robert won, so it is what it is. I would like to see Robert fight another super tough guy at middleweight, whoever that might be. Or you know what? Fuck it. I tell you who I would like to fucking see Robert Whitaker fight. Homeboy that just submitted Jack Hermanson.
Okay.
That's who I would like. And look, Robert, if you can beat fucking Jack Hermanson, then fuck it. Give him another title shot. I mean, I've never been terribly impressed with Robert Whitaker. And I tell you what, I ain't after last night either. But again, he's one of these cute he's like Neil Magny and a few others. They just win. No matter how much I don't want them to or how much I think they're going to lose. And every once in a while I'm right and they get thunderstruck. But I thought that Till was going to beat the piss out. Matter of fact, right before the fight started, I tweeted out like a jerk, Darren Till is about to make quick work of Robert Whitaker. And then as soon as the fight ended, I retweeted my own tweet and said, well, that didn't age very well. He most certainly did not make quick work of fucking Robert Whitaker. He does it to me every fucking time I think he's going to lose, other than the Israel fight. He fucking comes out, and I don't think he looked great, but he won. And I thought Till looked all right, too. So
again, I can rationalize what to do with Whitaker. Even getting a title fight or something. I can just about rationalize anything.
Jack Hermanson's the fight.
But what do you do with Till now? Where does Till go? Does he get relegated to the kind of gatekeeper role? Does he go back down?
I think you give Till another important fight. And see where you can go from there. He's got a W over Kelvin Gastelum. I think he's maybe got another W at 85 too. I can't fucking quite think. He just lost to Whitaker, but it was a close fight, and Whitaker's right there towards the top of the division. So I would like to see them throw Till in there with another really fucking, top-ranked middleweight. Let's see if he can. And then if he loses that fight now, then we have a discussion.
So Till has that bullshit win over Stephen Thompson.
And listen, it was a win nonetheless. Take it how you want it. Mm-hmm. He fucking beat him. Don't fucking, listen. He won.
Okay. So then he loses to Woodley, of course. Then he loses to Masvidal.
Sure.
Then he gets the split win over Gastelum.
So he's 1-1 at 185 then, right?
Yes.
Win over Gastelum and a loss to Whitaker.
Very close win over Gastelum, and then
a very close loss
against Whitaker.
Yeah, okay. So for all of me, man, he's right in there. I mean, bring up 85 for me, will you please? Do you got the 85 rankings? Can we get those cocksuckers?
I'm sure I can.
We'll get to those cocksuckers kind of easily here.
This will include the non-UFC people, but
I'm gonna do this. Look at there, but.
So Romero is booked against Uriah Hall. Of course, you got.
I don't want to get too fucking ahead of myself, but I suppose the winner of that wouldn't be the absolute worst fight in the world for Darren Till.
So you're saying Whitaker, Jack Hermanson, which I don't disagree.
I think that's a great fight.
What about Darren Till, Jared Cannonier?
Love that fight. That's another one that would work out perfectly fine.
Also a guy that moved up in weight as well.
And it's a good. Yeah, okay, I'll put it to you like this. Yes, something like that. I want to see Darren Till tested again. I do not think that. I mean, listen, he lost the fight last night, so it is what it is. But I still think the dude's fucking got a lot of talent, and on any given night, he could be that dude. So,
I guess the reason why I was saying I was like struggling to know what to do with Till is just because I thought he was going to be something that he hasn't turned into. You know, I vaguely thought he was going to beat Woodley.
I did too.
And then I thought he was going to beat Masvidal.
I did too. Now, and if he had gotten destroyed by Robert Whitaker last night, my opinion would be a little different. But the fight was close. I mean, look at a guy like Masvidal, man. It took him a long time to really kind of find his groove and start getting those big knockouts. We know that Darren Till has potential, and he's not getting destroyed. So I want to put him in there against somebody really fucking tough. Honestly, if Uriah Hall actually beats Yoel Romero, I mean, Uriah probably wouldn't love that fight, and obviously they don't really do losers with winners, but I think Darren Till versus Uriah Hall would be a really fucking fun fight.
Sure.
If Uriah can get that win.
Especially, yeah.
Or you know what? Fuck it. If he loses, still might not be the worst fight in the world for Darren Till. A good, should get the W type fight.
Yeah, sure.
So,
and then Nogueira retired. I guess we need to mention that. And I assume that this is a legitimate retirement.
Oh yeah, I don't. I mean, if he does fight again, it'll be in Japan or some weirdy shit like that. I don't think we see him in the UFC again.
Or if they do like a Legends thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the only fight. I mean, and that's what that fight was. And that was a Legends fight. Right?
I'll give him this: to be as old as he is, as shop worn as he is, his quote unquote retirement fight. I don't know if you pricks can hear that, but that's me giving the go. Yeah, that was a fucking really good showing for him to show for his last fight. I mean, sometimes those look at God fucking love him. Look at BJ. He has looked like absolute shit in his last few fights. Even though Nogueira lost that fight, he put up a fucking hell of a fight. And you could argue that he fucking won. He was knocking the fuck out of Shogun at different parts in that fight. So,
is Ryan Hall booked against someone? I think he is.
I think,
yeah. Against Ricardo Lamas?
That makes sense.
Who's
that?
Keep talking.
I don't know. But I think, yeah, because people are like, people are scared to fight Ryan Hall. I mean, listen, Ryan's good and all, but calm down, bro.
Listen, I'm in that camp.
Listen, ain't nobody scared.
I think
Ryan Hall about to get all the smoke that he fucking wants. He ain't hurting people. Fuck's sake, the worst thing he's doing is twisting people's little knees around. But he gonna get some smoke.
I think people are want absolutely nothing to do with him. Ricardo Lamas, August 29th.
That's a good fight. I think he'll win that fight, too, though. But
dude, I love Ryan Hall. I still want to see Ryan Hall versus, what's his nuts, the country guy. Oh, my gosh.
I don't think he's there yet.
His name's escaping me.
Yeah, I know. The kid that pulled the twister off
twice. What is that guy's name? Why is it escaping me?
Because the UFC's got fucking 6,000 fighters on their fucking staff now. But yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, but I can't think of the little prick's name either right now.
He's amazing. Bryce Mitchell.
There you go. Yep.
And then Verdum.
I don't think Bryce wants that smoke yet, though.
And then Verdum, this was, to my understanding, last fight in the contract, has initiated he has no interest in continuing with the UFC. Not quite sure where he goes.
Listen,
Bellator makes sense.
I think Bellator about to sign Fabricio and Paige Van Zandt quick, fast, and in a hurry. And quite frankly, I think it makes perfect sense for their business model. Names that we all know. I'll watch Paige Van Zandt and Fabricio fight in Bellator, and I'm not really a fan of any of those people, Bellator, Paige, or Fabricio, but they fit well. Bellator's got some guys that they can line Fabricio up with that'll be fun fights that Fabricio will probably win. He'll probably be their heavyweight champion. I mean, I don't think that Ryan Bader ain't got nothing for Fabricio Verdum. So,
yeah.
So I think Fabricio's probably looking at that thinking, Ryan Bader's y'all champ? Yeah, I'll come over there and take that belt for you.
Yeah, right.
And Paige Van Zandt's like, yo, I get to get sponsored by anybody who will pay me money. Bet. I would go as far as to say I think Paige Van Zandt's probably about – I definitely think she gets signed by Bellator. It makes all the sense in the world. And I think she's about to get paid.
I think she's going to get a lot of money.
I think she's going to make way more money in Bellator than she ever did in the UFC just because she's going to get them sponsorship dollars. And she'll get real. She might get sponsored by some fucking makeup brand that throws her fucking 100, 200 bands a fight. You know what I mean? Like she could be getting real money on sponsorship dollars.
Nope, I'm with you, and I'm completely okay with it. I mean,
for sure.
Not that my opinion would matter anyway, but
kind of love it.
I'm completely okay with it. I love it.
Kind of love it. You know why? Because listen, Paige Van Zandt ain't whipping fucking Shevchenko. She ain't gonna be no champion in the UFC for sure. And quite frankly, as much as I like Fabricio, his days at being a UFC heavyweight champion are probably fucking Kaputsa. I mean, maybe he could beat Stipe or DC or Francis, but you know, even if he became champion, the days of Fabricio becoming the guy in the UFC and being their heavyweight champion that they promote and that the rest of us, the world, is afraid of, it's over. We've seen Fabricio
He's about to turn
lose.
43.
Yeah, so Bellator is perfect for Fabricio at this point. Get good money, get fights you should win. Yeah, I see no reason why fucking Fabricio and Scott Coker ain't on the phone right now lining up his first fight in Bellator.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I love it. I love it.
And then Gus coming back out of retirement? Question mark.
Yeah, he just took a fucking vacation. Stop it.
I mean, it's weird because he retired less than a year ago.
Yeah, well, that's not a retirement.
And then in between there, about 6 months after he retired, he does take a kickboxing fight, or what was it? What was it?
I didn't even know that he did anything.
It was just a grappling bout.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, he takes a grappling bout. And
that's weird.
And he won. That was it. And then he goes to fight for Doom and then loses instantaneously.
I mean,
so I'm just like, well, I'm not exactly. And then a heavyweight, of course, which was his debut at heavyweight.
Listen, I think the Anthony Smith loss sucked too. I'm not a big fan of Anthony Smith. That one rubs me the wrong way. Ain't no fucking shame in losing to John Jones. Surely ain't no shame in losing to him on the ground. And getting submitted by Fabricio Verdum at heavyweight. Let me remind y'all, man.
Yeah, I mean, here's Gus's losses.
Yeah.
Go in order, going backward. It was we're taking Anthony Smith out because that's what we're talking about. So before that, it's John Jones, Cormier, Anthony Johnson, John Jones.
Yeah. I mean, for all of me,
and then before that, his first UFC loss was Phil Davis.
Right.
That was back when Phil Davis was on.
Right. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, for all of me, dog, I would like to see Gus just go back to 205. I don't, heavyweight didn't work out. Look, you got submitted by the absolute best submission heavyweight fighter of all time,
and didn't take a whole lot of damage.
There's no debate there. I love Frank Mir. I love Minotauro Nogueira. I love Fedor. But Fabricio Verdum is as good as it gets at heavyweight as far as submissions go. He's the most credentialed. He's submitted the most guys. The argument, there's no discussion. So what? He got submitted by Fabricio Verdum. So did fucking Fedor and Tom, Dick, and Harry. Big Nog. Everybody's been submitted by Fabricio. Join the fucking crowd. At light heavyweight, the only, again, fucking Anthony Smith, Ross, does rub me the wrong way. I don't know what's going on with you there. You got knocked out by AJ. So the fuck what? AJ hits harder than any human on earth, and you got beat by John Jones. Again, join the fucking crowd.
And Cormier.
And Cormier. Again, join the fucking crowd. Nobody, other than Stipe and John, nobody beats DC either. What the fuck? So I'm still completely content with seeing Gus just come back to 205 and get in a fresh name. Come back to 205 and give him, listen, man. And here's the thing, right? So he lost to Anthony Smith, and that's what turned him off. Listen, turned me off too. But keep in mind, Gustafsson not only beat Glover, but made him look like a dummy. Landed like 16 uppercuts in a row. I mean, it was like a fucking video game out there. He stunted on Glover and finished him. Glover, about, 2-3 months ago,
about murdered.
beat the fuck out of Anthony Smith. So this idea that Anthony Smith is better than Gus, so Gus needs to go away, and I know the MMA math don't mean everything, but I'm just not willing to give up on Gus at 205. I think Gus comes back at 205, and I think if his head's screwed on right and he's ready to rock, there's only a couple guys at 205 that I would favor above Gus even now. Like, real talk, again, him getting submitted by Fabricio don't really lower his stock in my book at all. Matter of fact, quite frankly, fucking ups his stock. You know why? Because he fucking took the fucking fight. He fucking did it. A lot of fuckers are, much as I love you, John, you ain't took one fight at heavyweight. Old Gus didn't pan out to him too well for him, but he made the walk. He went and got in the ring with fucking Fabricio Verdum, and you know what happens when you do that? You get submitted, but goddamn it, I give him fucking credit for trying.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you.
Shit.
And then we started to talk about him. I want to talk about him again, which is Chimaev. He is bursted onto the scene now. He gets 2 wins in 10 days, which is the record. No one has done that before.
Sure.
Someone's come close, but no one has done that before. Getting 2 wins in 10 days, not against super top-level people, but good. I mean, perfectly. It wasn't like it was just absolute nobodies.
Listen.
Rice McKee that's a name. I mean, he's got a name behind him. But it gets the 2 wins, and doesn't just get 2 wins in 10 days. Gets 2 wins in 10 days dominantly, and in the process is continuing to run his mouth, continuing to seem like he's a fun guy.
Sure.
And has a Habib type personality. He's at 170, which 170 is a good division, but not one that's going to prohibit you from being able to climb the ranks if you want to do so.
Sure.
I'm interested. I mean, this is I don't want to miss out. I don't want to be cynical and miss out on seeing a guy that very well could be what people think he is. I also don't want to get. We all do this. We all do this. We all do this. We all react to things right as it happens. Think about how these shows of the last few weeks would have sounded with some of these other guys that we've been seeing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
In some of these fights we've had. We've just been sucking everybody's dick.
Oh, yeah. Carrying
that's
on
how that
about
works.
It. Yeah.
But now we're not even talking about it because we're not even thinking about it.
Sure,
I couldn't even tell you what my opinions were about shit 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So we get very caught up, and then we're cementing it on
very
a podcast.
much in the moment.
Right? We get that, and we all do this. So I want to avoid that while also acknowledging that he very well could be what we think he might be. I mean, he might be this dominant of a person, and we're witnessing the beginning of what is going to be the next few years of dominance. Right?
Sure. Absolutely. But the question becomes this then, right? He's looked great. Quite frankly, he's fought nobodies, to keep it a buck. But he's shooting the mouth off. He's looked really impressive. Everybody on his team says he's the real deal. He's undefeated. So we could do this one or two ways, all right? You're running your mouth. Matter of fact, you even said a name. Do you know what name he fucking said on Twitter? Damian Maia.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you something, Mr. Young Swede. Be careful what you wish for. Be very careful what you wish for. I would think that, we could find somebody at 170 other than Damian Maia to put him against next to maybe let him flourish a little bit, get another W, so on and so forth. But if he really thinks he's that good and his team is really talking all that yin yang, welcome to the big league, son. Let's see what you can do. If you could come out and do that to Damian Maia, by God, you are who we think you are and you're ready. If you come out and Damian Maia ties your little funny Polish ass in a fucking pretzel, I suggest you watch your mouth. This is not fucking LFA or whatever the fuck, Damian Maia might be a bit long in the tooth, but be careful what you wish for. You talking about Damian Maia, we will find out how good you are, especially if you a grappler and you like, yeah, I want that Damian Maia smoke. Okay. We'll find out real quick, fast, and in a hurry how good you are, Jack.
So, by the way, for people to know his lineage, so born in Russia, but fights out of Sweden.
Fair enough. I mean,
has the Swedish flag, fights out of Sweden, was born in Chechnya, but does fight out of Sweden. So,
I wonder
for those of you, I'm interested in what the story is.
I wonder what the Russians think about him. I wonder if they look at him as like a traitor.
That seems that there's got to be a story there.
Yeah,
it's so crazy, man. And this is not.
Imagine Habib takes him on like as his mortal enemy, and like I will move up to 70 for him and smash him because he moved Sweden and trade on us.
It's so crazy, man. And this is not even a conversation for this podcast, but we're winding down, so why not? I'll just say this real quick. You know, we have, over the last few weeks, we've been dealing with some major reignite. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know. It may not even be a word. But racial issues have really come to the forefront. And I don't know how many podcasts we've even done since all that's been going on. But there's been
not many.
Lot of protests. We're continuing to see not just Civil War era relics coming down, but most of these Civil War relics were not in the Civil War. They were in the Jim Crow era.
Well, sure.
They came around in the 60s. I think that's what people aren't realizing. No one's erasing history.
I don't want to fucking definitely get started on this.
No, but what I was going to bring up, because it does kind of relate to this, is that one of the reasons why we have such racial tension in this country is because we truly are a fucking melting pot.
Well, sure.
We are a melting pot.
So you go have a fucking little salty at each other.
Walk down the streets of Russia and start pointing out all the non-Russians.
Yeah, go find a whole bunch of fucking Japanese folks floating around Russia, or fucking Brazilians or whatever the fuck.
Walk down the streets of Tokyo, and not people who are tourists, but people who live in Tokyo.
Right.
Show me all the people who are from other countries living in Tokyo.
How many Californians live in Tokyo, or North Dakotians?
And that's about as far as it goes. Is that, like, Tokyo, for instance, is going to be a little bit more diverse?
Sure.
But it is not even remotely going to be the diversity of it. Just look for different colors when you go to these other countries. You don't see it.
Go 2 hours outside of Tokyo. See how many Europeans you fucking see there.
You don't see it. We live in a country that is a true melting pot. And because of that, I think that tension is going to be inevitable. People tend to gravitate toward like pack animals, right? They tend to gravitate toward people that look like them and act like them and talk like them, right? So because of that, there's going to be, I think, divisiveness is just a byproduct of that. And but I think we need to keep perspective as to why we're experiencing that. And we really are a melting pot nation, and because of that, we're going to experience this. Even just look in sports, man. What next time when the Olympics come back, look at all the gymnastic teams. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a black girl on the fucking Chinese gymnastics team?
Well, right.
Is there a white girl on the Chinese gymnastic? No.
Right.
It's all Chinese girls, right? It's all fucking Russian girls. It's all whatever. Like, and the American gymnastics team is as diverse as anything, which is why we win.
Thank God for that.
It's diverse, man. Datotosh is a really funny joke about that, actually, which I'm not going to talk about the podcast because it's inappropriate, but it's a really funny joke. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because that is interesting. I wonder why he wound up in Sweden, and I wonder what Russians think of that. I'm interested if there's because it's just not something you see. That's not common.
And again, I don't want to get caught up on the politics. We're about to wrap up. We got about 5 minutes here. I just want to quickly make one little statement on the whole the rebel flag. What's it called? The
Confederate flag.
The Confederate flag.
It was, I believe, called the.
All these monuments. All I'm going to say is all y'all motherfuckers better be glad that I'm not the king of this country. Because the moment that we would have won that war, all that treasonous shit would have got. But y'all started a war on your own country, which fair enough. Shit happens back in the day. But y'all lost. Y'all are lucky we let you even fly that cocksucking flag. Like, the flag that we have now, our actual American flag, that would look like y'all's stink-ass flag if you would have won the war. But you lost. So why in the fuck is that flag anywhere for starters just because y'all lost? I mean, imagine they had an uprising in France, and these motherfuckers came kind of close, but they lost. Would they let them keep their little punk-ass losing flag and build bronze statues of the motherfucking generals from the losing side? Why would we do that?
Again, and this isn't equivalent, but you don't walk around Germany and see statues of Hitler.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He lost.
You don't see Nazi flags.
And it's definitely not the same, for sure. But it's like, I never understood that from that level. I get represents the South and so on and so forth, but it's like, at the end of the day, y'all lost. It was fucking mutiny. You fucking tried the poison, and fair enough, but y'all lost the battle. Like, why the fuck?
And I think the big thing that people just don't realize too is that when they're talking about these Civil War monuments, they're saying, "Oh, you're erasing history." It's like, well, first of all, the history's still there, but regardless of that, most of those monuments, they're not from the Civil War. They were, in fact, many of them, quite literally, were put in during the Jim Crow era as a way to be like, hey, look at this shit.
Well, right.
We're putting a fucking Civil War general in the 1960s because black people want more rights, so we want to give you the middle finger.
You know why they didn't build none of them statues during the Civil War? Because they fucking lost.
They were too busy losing.
You know how many fucking statues they built of Alexander Gustafsson today in Sweden? 0. You know why? Because he got fucking submitted last night. They don't build statues of fucking losers, for fuck's sakes.
I love the idea, though, that had he won,
maybe
there would be a statue.
Fucking
of
ice sculpture of him, probably. Yeah, fucking Sweden. If he had won, fucking for sure. But nobody likes a fucking loser, man. That's why we love these events where everything's on the line. You win it all. You lose, you're a shitbird.
Right.
I don't make the fucking rules. You lost. Fuck off.
It is what it is.
Right. What do we got next? Oh. Quickly, before we
go ahead, please.
Mike Tyson is fucking boxing Roy Jones Jr. I don't know all the rules
stoked.
and shit, but I'm here for it. Fuck,
I'm here for it.
Right? I mean, I know they're fucking both 55 years old, for fuck's sakes, but I mean, they're in good shape, and as long as they don't go too terribly hard and try to fucking kill each other, I mean.
Who the fuck did Cejudo? Cejudo called out Volkanovski. Do you think that's real?
What do you mean? Do I think that he would do it?
Do you think Cejudo would fight Volkanovski?
I do think that Cejudo would, yes. I don't think the UFC or Volkanovski would fucking entertain the idea. And listen, I'm going to tell you something right now.
If I'm Volkanovski, I'll take it.
No, you wouldn't.
Why?
Because it's not sexy. Fuck it. Listen, Henry, you're cute. And you know I don't really like you like that. You're cute. But you're not, real talk, you're not the star you think. Look, man, Davidson Figueiredo is a good fight for Henry Cejudo. I would favor Henry in that fight, even though I don't like him. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If they line that fight up at flyweight, I do not think that Figueiredo is just a sitting duck. I do not think that at all. Keep in mind, man, Joe B beat Henry Cejudo. Yeah, I know. It was a long time ago. I don't give a fuck. It wasn't in 83. He beat him like fucking 5 years ago. Okay? What's his name? Davidson Figueiredo?
Yeah.
Just beat the fuck out of Joe B twice. If y'all think that Henry Cejudo is just going to steamroll Davidson Figueiredo, you're wrong. He might beat him. But, you know, and that's not even getting into 35 and fucking Pichor Yan and Aljamain. Listen, man, all joking aside, Henry Cejudo needs to wake the fuck up. Dude, you beat DJ, who fucked off right afterwards, and that was a super close fight. Then you beat TJ, who got caught fucking cheating. Then you beat Marlon Moraes, who, I mean, look, I'm not trying to make excuses, but clearly gassed like a motherfucker. And then you beat Dominic Cruz. And I won't even go into the reasons on why that's a bit of a fucking bullshit win. Dominic Cruz has been hurt more than goddamn an NFL fucking quarterback for the last fucking 10 years of his career, for fuck's sake. There are so many big fights for him still, from fucking Cody Garbrandt to fucking, you know, I mean, I can just go fucking on and on.
Right.
With fights for fucking Henry Cejudo. So, you know, he can fucking, he's still got a lot of work to do at 35 and quite frankly, a little bit to do at 25 for all of me.
So we do have a couple fight cards that are before the next pay-per-view, but I want to go over the next pay-per-view real quick just to get your very early thoughts. So here's the main card we have so far. We have Frankie Edgar versus Pedro Munoz. It's a very good fight. It's at 35.
It's a good fight, but to be fair, I'll watch it. I don't give a fuck.
I imagine Pedro should win.
Yeah, I hope. Because if not, brr.
Then you have Sean O'Malley fighting Chito Vera.
That's a very good fight. I love that fight. I think we're all
a big step up for Sean O'Malley.
We're all curious about Sean O'Malley, and that's a really, really good fight.
Well, it doesn't even. It's weird because I guess it's not a step up. In fact, it's a step down for. Well, I don't know.
No, it's a step up. It's just a step up.
It's weird. It's a weird one.
Chito's a better fighter.
It's like rankings wise, it feels. I don't know. It's weird.
I think Chito's a better fighter than the guy he fought last.
I think so too.
For sure. But it's not. You know, we'll see. We'll see what he looks like with this one. Good fight.
You got Inkalov versus Cutelaba.
Cutelaba was always fun.
You got JDS versus Rosenstruck.
That's a great fight. That's a really fun fight. That's a fun fight.
I don't know if this is a pay-per-view, though. And then the main event is, of course, the trilogy fight between Stipe and Cormier. Who do you think takes that one away? Here's your early prediction.
DC, man. I thought DC won every bit of both their fights except for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, long as DC does something about those body shots, it's his fight to lose for all of me. We know he can take a punch from Stipe.
The adjustments that he needs to make, I think, are relatively simple to make.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Stipe could do more.
Sure.
And with Cormier, I know what he needs to do more, right? So
Right.
I think when you look at it from that lens,
I mean, Stipe could definitely win the fight, but the odds are again. That's DC's fight to lose. Put you like that.
Michael Chandler's going to fight Benson Henderson again.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Bellator on August 7th.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not jumping on my
Why
fucking
not?
skin over it.
Yeah,
but
why not?
That's Bellator. What are you gonna do?
Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think that's it. I think we got the most of it, man.
We're back, baby.
We'll have to, let's make sure we fucking be back next weekend.
I know, right? All right, guys. We will see you next week.
Hey-o.